2. You didn't stay there long enough. Good! By the time you guys likely see this, afternoon! Magic players! And card collectors of all kinds! Welcome back to 1, 2, 100! That's right, we are back to look at the Walls deck and continue our work on that. We are pretty much getting near the end there. We're just going to finish up. Today we're looking at our artifacts and enchantments. And once we get those set, we just have to pick out some extra sorceries and instants, and we will have this deck completed. So this will be the first deck that I've ever actually completed on channel completely without doing any real work off camera other than picking out the piles of cards that I wanted to go through. Basically, what I've been doing when I'm off channel is those white boxes that you see in the introduction. I'm going through those and I am picking out the instants, or let's say in this case, the artifacts and enchantments that fit the color and that I felt could be reasonable options. That's my rule. I'm not going to put in something that I know I won't consider using, but if it's something that I am going to consider using, I figure why not put it into the pile, and then when we get to it kind of thing. I'm just gonna open the windows because it's actually kind of warm sitting here in the sun, so get a little bit of cross breeze for me going here. And so just to review, we are working on a Pramicon Sky Rampart deck. I really like this card. I think it's a hilarious card, and I love the fact that it's so cheap. So as far as commanders go, this is one of those commanders that you can actually probably play like 4 times in a game, whereas a lot of people will only be able to play their commander maybe once or twice depending on the cost. This guy, basically anything that is extra is just commander tax. As long as you've got the 3 colors when you first put him out, you're always going to be able to pretty much get him out. So not so bad. I kind of like him for that reason. Or her. Or it. I mean, it's a wall, so I don't really know what gender it has per se. It does say its colors entrance aggressors, directing their violence. So I suppose it is an it. Anyways, you have to forgive me. I spent a lot of years in Quebec, and everything there is either male or female. There's not really its. We got our plains, as we looked at before, and all our other lands there. We've picked out our creatures already, but I will make a note that among our creatures, we did add from one of those recent Dollarama Draws a Destiny episodes. We had pulled a Glacial Wall, and so I've added that in. So that has brought the total number of cards up to 75, I believe, at my last count yesterday. I'm just going to do a quick double check on that, and you guys get to review the artwork while I do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands. Well, 36 lands plus the commander. 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 62. And then our sorceries that we've already picked out. 75. I was right. Okay, so we have 75 cards so far with a potential 3 maybes sitting over here. We do have a pile of sorceries and Definitely sorceries. There might be instants in there too, but I think it's just sorceries for now. Let me double check that because I'm curious. Yeah, just sorceries for now. Oh my goodness, why are you cards all spilling everywhere? Ah! Ah! Just kidding. Okay, so we do have 3 potentials that we might include. I am really considering this one for sure. I like the Dream Prowler. I think it's cool that it's unblockable as long as you have no other creatures attacking. So if I can't, for example, steal something on a turn, I at least have one creature that I can attack with, and it won't be blocked. Plus, I love the artwork on this one. The Aether Figment is a maybe. I'm probably not going to use it though, to be honest. I'm pretty sure I'm going to turn that down. And after looking through the enchantments and artifacts and picking out the maybe pile last night, I came to the realization that I'm probably not going to use this either because I think I have some better ideas. So these 2 are probably going to get turned down, whereas this is going to probably make it in. So that will make 76 total cards. But I'm going to leave it over here actually as a maybe still for now, just in case. But the other 2, I'm pretty sure I'm turning down. So we are going to go through the artifacts first, actually, rather than the enchantments, because there's not that many artifacts that I'm considering for this deck. And while a few of them are like just in there because I thought it would be interesting, a couple of things I think might be a really good one for this deck. So we'll go through them in the order that I have them sitting in here, because that just seems the best way to do it. I've got a Shield of the Realm. If a source would deal damage to the equipped creature, prevent 2 of that damage. I like this because it's super cheap to put on, and I figure with my various walls, especially my commander, this is a fantastic way to protect my commander from anybody who would try to, say, for example, attack it, or if they would use, if they're playing red, maybe a whole bunch of burn spells. I can protect my commander with this. So I kind of like that. But it's definitely in the maybe pile. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to take these 2. And I'm definitely going to say I'm not going to use them. I like the Aether Figment's artwork, don't get me wrong. But I just don't think it fits. Whereas this one, it almost kind of looks like it is a wall anyways. If you look at the artwork, it's kind of weird. Do you think some find sleep in a restful state? Like, to me, I don't know what that's supposed to be, but to me, it almost looks like some sort of like structure or wall that's surrounded by a spirit. So I kind of like it. And like I said, I think it's a better fit for the deck. The Subjugate the Hobbits, I'm also just... as many creatures as that might steal, especially with tokens. You know what? I'll leave the Subjugate Hobbits installed, but I'm going to, as a maybe, but I'm going to definitely take out the Aether Figment. Because of that Glacial Wall going in, I don't have space for both those anymore. So this is definitely going in the maybe box. So we'll put that over there for now. Forger's Foundry, I like this one actually quite a bit. Add blue. When you spend this mana to cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 3 or less, you can exile that spell instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard as it resolves. Then you can pay 3 and 2 blue, and you can cast any number of spells from among the exiled cards with Forger's Foundry without paying their mana costs. It does not say you have to exile this thing to do that. So, what I was thinking is, in the case of my stealing spells that we have over here, that we've been discussing, the point of this deck is to steal other people's creatures and hit them with their own stuff, because I'm full of walls. Not counting that one, we've got Claim the Firstborn would work. Shackles of Treachery would go. Act of Treason. Furnace of Rains. System Override. And Hijack. So there's potentially 6 out of the pile here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 sorceries that we have so far. So that's basically almost half. And what I like about that is if I was able to exile all 6 of those successfully, which, I mean, okay, to be fair, there's only 5 that I'd be able to exile because Claim the Firstborn only costs 1 red. But all the other ones I could exile, so because they have colorless pips. So I could pay the blue for those, exile those as they come in, and then I can cast up to 5 copies, essentially, of spells that let me steal stuff for 3 and 2 blue per turn, if I can keep this on the field. So I'm really leaning towards putting that in. I think that's a good card to include in this deck for that reason. because it gives me access to those things again over and over and over. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-0. I thought that was just kind of neat because it's a stone and it does have walls surrounding it. So I thought that seems like really fitting for the deck in terms of the artwork and flavor. The idea that all my opponent's creatures will get -1/-0 just means also that my walls are slightly more protected. But I'm going to put it into the maybe pile for now. Rimfire Torque. 1 and a blue. As this artifact enters, you choose a creature type. I'm going to be picking walls. Whenever a permanent of the creature type enters, you put a charge counter on this thing. You can tap this thing, remove 3 from this thing, and you can cast your next instant or sorcery spell. You can copy it. I think that's going to be a little too complex possibly for this deck. My original thinking was this is kind of neat because, again, I can copy all the stuff that I'm stealing things with. So I'm kind of like that. But getting 3 charge counters on it on a regular basis might be tough because if I remember correctly, I think I only have like 25 walls. And it costs 3 charge counters. So let's see here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yes, 25 walls. So basically, I'd only be able to pull that off successfully 8 times. Potentially, unless I was able to like bring back my walls and put them back into play, or pull them out and put them back into play. And I think that's going to be a little too complex. So as much as I was really thinking that that was a cool idea, I'm pretty sure the Forger's Foundry is a much better option, and I'm going to put that one as a no. So we will turn that one down. I'm putting all my no's behind the sorcery pile that I have there as a maybe pile for later, because I don't really want to deal with that pile until I get to the end. Deconstruction Hammer. I kind of like this one again for the flavor because walls, and you need hammers to build walls and also to break them, kind of thing. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, has pay 3, tap this, sacrifice it, and destroy an artifact or enchantment. That, it feels like a good card, but I mean, that is a high cost to pull off the second part. And when we get to the enchantments, you're going to see I kind of have this neat idea of what I want to do with the enchantments too, that I think is sort of on flavor with what I was doing before with the sorcery pile over here. So I'm going to say no to that one. This one I like. A quarter shield. It looks very much like a wall. Like that person's holding a wall almost. The equipped creature gets +0/+3 and has vigilance. The equip cost is expensive, but it costs nothing to put it into play, which is nice. So I think it's worth it to include this one because that'll definitely help me boost all the walls up to a higher power, or a higher toughness, I mean, so that they can endure even greater hits. And I can not have to worry about them being tapped per se by, like, if I was to attack with a wall somehow. For example, the one big wall at the end there, the roving keep, if I were to put that on it, I could attack with it and I wouldn't have to worry about it tapping. And then finally, an Arcane Signet. I'm going to put this into the maybe pile for now until we get through the rest of the cards. I feel it's always good to have an Arcane Signet or something like that in a deck that has 3 or more colors, to be perfectly honest. But more often than not, it ends up getting cut because I have so many other things that I want to include. And I try to avoid cutting lands as much as possible just because typically I do run a lower count of lands on purpose. Because I want to include a couple extra things. So when I start cutting lands afterwards, that just makes it so much worse for me in terms of mana. So I'm going to put this in the maybe pile as well. I'm going to move the Dream Prowler over to the yes pile, I've decided. I do like that. So I have 24 cards to work with. And so I'm going to try and make 12 of them be artifacts and enchantments and 12 of them be sorceries and instants, which we'll deal with next time. Right now, our definites are a quarter shield and Forger's Foundry, so there are 2 of the 12 there. Although I will say that if need be, the shield might get bumped. But I really like that shield in there for now. Vow of Lightning. Here's where we're going to start to get into some of the neat stuff. I wanted to put that one actually to the back. I forgot. Where are the other ones? Because that is one of the... There's a certain group of cards that I want to actually show you guys that I think will be kind of neat. And then, okay, well, you know what? I didn't do this I was going to split this up into a pile before I started this video and I forgot to, so whatever. Among the enchantments, I have two things that I'm thinking of. One, I want to enchant creatures with stuff that will let my opponents want to keep that creature on the board for me to keep stealing. So, for example, Vow of Lightning. I have no creatures really that are going to benefit other than the one that I just showed you, the illusion, from +2/+2 and first strike. But since it can't attack me or a planeswalker control, I could equip this to something that I'm going to steal on a regular basis. And then I have first strike whenever I attack with it, and my opponent has first strike when they attack with it. So I kind of like that. And so I have several cards in here that are sort of along that line. I'm just going to go through the pile as we go, and I'm going to show those cards. So for example, Call of the Full Moon. I actually really like this card. I wanted to put it into my werewolf deck, but I didn't like the fact that once it becomes daytime, the card gets destroyed. So, first off, it's going to annoy the people all kinds of ways because, well, it doesn't actually deal with day and night per se, but it has the same sort of mechanic. So, you know what I mean? Where if a player plays 2 spells, then the card would be destroyed, as it says at the bottom here. So this is perfect for me because I can enchant the creature when I have it and give it +3/+2 and trample for the turn. And then by the end of my turn, I've already played 2 spells by playing this and the spell that I used to steal. So it'll automatically get destroyed on my opponent's next upkeep. What else do we got? Aqueous Form I thought would be a fun one to do too. Enchanted creature can't be blocked, and whenever the enchanted creature attacks, scry 1. I believe I'm going to be the one that gets to scry no matter what, so when my opponent swings with it, I'll get to scry, and when I swing with it, I'll get to scry. I could be wrong about that. I have to check that as a rule thing, but I'm not sure. Wingspan Stride I thought was a perfect one too. Enchant creature, gets +1/+1 in flying. I can pay 2 in blue to return it to my hand so that they don't have flying on their turn if I don't want them to. But if I want them to have flying, then I can keep it there and I can keep stealing that creature. So again, beautiful card for that. And then I've always on this channel complained about these kinds of cards because I really hate this mechanic. But for once in a change, this mechanic actually feels like it might be worthwhile running in this specific deck. If you know what I'm talking about, you already can guess it in the comments. But if you don't, what I'm thinking about including also in here are the following 3 cards. Because they all do goading, which I hate. I hate goading with a passion because I hate being told I have to attack each combat. But if I enchant all my opponent's creatures with these, they can't attack me unless I'm the only one around. And they're all going to get super benefits. So Martial Impetus, they'll get +1/+1, and all the creatures that they attack with, as long as they're not attacking me, will also get +1/+1. That's a good one to give my opponents. Shining Impetus, +2/+2, goaded, and whenever the creature attacks, I get a treasure token. So I'll get 2 treasures per turn if I steal that creature. Or turn cycle, I mean, sorry. And Psychic Impetus, +2/+2, and whenever the enchanted creature attacks, you scry 2. Again, I'm pretty sure it's me who gets to scry, so when they attack, I scry, and when I attack with it, I scry. So that's pretty helpful for me. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to include all 6 of these cards into my... I'm leaning towards not including the Aqueous Form, but the other 6 I'm really leaning towards including. The Aqueous Form I think I put into the maybe pile for now, but these 6 I'm pretty sure about. However, I'm going to leave them over here for now, because we want to go through the other stuff that we've got here. I just want to pick this in the right order again now, sorry. Because the next thing I wanted to show you was the other thing that I realized about some of these enchantments, which is the blue has a little bit of a small pile where it lets you do the fun thing that I want to do with all my my sorcery pile here. So I am including for certain at least 2 of these. I might include all 3. Kidnap, Confiscate, and In Bolas's Clutches. I think these are much better to include than the Subjugate the Hobbits, which is why I'm turning down Subjugate the Hobbits, and I wanted to wait until I actually showed you these to do this, which I forgot about earlier. But that's going there, and definitely Kidnap's going in. I'm definitely including Kidnap because I think that's awesome. Confiscate and Imbolos's Clutches. I'm going to include one of them probably, but I don't know which one. At this time, they both cost the exact same. The only difference is this one makes the permanent legendary, which is kind of neat. So I'm leaning towards probably doing this one just because that seems like something I want to save for a special deck. Yeah, I think I'll do it that way. And I think I'll put this over here in the maybe pile for now, but I'm pretty sure that's going to get turned down once we get to the nuts and bolts of this. Next up, we're going to do the 4 multicolored enchantments that I have in my hand, and then I'll go through the last set that we have. So I've got Windcrag Siege, 1, a red and a white. When it enters, I can choose Mardu or Jeskai. If the attacking creature causes a triggered ability, I'm not going to be doing that one. I'm going to be doing the other one if I pick this card, which is that I get a Goblin every turn on my upkeep. And during that turn that it came in, it gains lifelink and haste, which is kind of neat. I'm not sure if I want to include that though or not. That's definitely going in the maybe pile. And probably all these are going in the maybe pile, to be perfectly honest. Outlaws Merriment. I kind of like this card, and I wish it was black and red instead of black and white because it would go in my Outlaws deck really nicely. But again, it's something that's going to give me a bunch of tokens that I can swing with, which the idea was originally that the sorcery pile would be about stealing people's creatures, and my instants and other stuff would be about trying to get tokens on the board. But I'm leaning towards not doing the token thing now because I really like the idea of just stealing everybody's stuff and swinging at them with it. And these just feel like not the colors that you would normally see that happen in, so I think it makes it more fun. Frostcliff Siege, again, it's the same kind of thing as the other enchantment. I picked Jeskai or Temur. In this case, it's going to be probably Jeskai. Whenever more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you get to draw a card. I think that's just a nice bonus. But I mean, I could give the trample and haste to everything too. But I don't think any of these cards are probably going to get included, to be perfectly honest. And then this one I kind of liked, but again, the main thing is I just don't have any decks that actually run blue, red, and white as colors specifically. So look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one into your hand, the other at the bottom of your library in any order. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell this turn, target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. The only thing I don't like about that is I would get the double strike after I stole the opponent's creature. So basically I'm not going to get anything that I can swing with double strike, which is probably why I won't include that in this deck. Where did I put that last pile? Oh, right here. Okay. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards left that are just random enchantments that I thought might be interesting to include. Double Vision's the best one probably out of this pile. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, you can copy that spell. I think that's probably a good include with the Fortress Foundry because it means that I'm going to be doubling up all my stealing spells. So I like that one. Gaseous Form I thought would be a neat one to include for my commander again, or one of the bigger walls, just prevent any damage that would be dealt to my wall. A lot of the walls have 0 attack anyway, so it's not going to be a big deal if I don't deal damage to the creature that attacks me. I'm definitely maybeing that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put that in the pile over here, I think. That we'll look at in a second and see what we're going to include, because once this is once we're through this, if there's not enough space for more than 6 or 7 spells, these 7 are going to automatically go in probably. Amphibian Downpour I thought would be kind of a fun one to include, but the more I think about it, I want to save this one, I think, for my frog deck when I build it, so that's why I'm going to turn it down right now. Sheltered by Ghosts, enchant creature you control. When this enters, exile a non-land permanent opponent controls until this thing leaves the battlefield, and my creature gets +1/+0, has lifelink and ward 2. Might be a nice thing to include for my commander, or again, one of the other walls that I just really want to keep on the battlefield, but I think I'm going to turn it down. I'll put it in the maybe pile, actually. I'm turning down this one, though, because even though it's a really cheap way to get lifelink, I just don't think that I'm going to want that in this deck. This I thought would be kind of fun to include. In case anybody is playing Burn, I can keep myself from being damaged. What I really like about this card is if if I choose to, say it's an enchantment that's going to constantly do damage to me whenever somebody plays something. For example, Fiery Inscription. I love that card from Lord of the Rings. Whenever you cast a sorcery or an instant spell, I think it deals 2 damage to an opponent. So I could pay 1 each time they tried to do that damage to me to prevent that damage. I kind of like that, but it's not going to be the best card for this deck, I don't think. This I thought would be really funny for this deck, and I kind of want to include it for the meme. So I think I'm going to. I can enchant a creature an opponent controls that I really don't want to take, but that is a particular problem. And I can give it Defender so it can't swing any longer. So basically I turn it into a wall almost. I like that. I'm going to include that. I've decided. That's definitely going in. And Ritual of Steel, 2 and a white. Draw a card at the beginning of upkeep after the turn after this comes into play, and the enchanted creatures +0/+2. I like the value that you get out of this for the extra draw, but I think I'm going to put that as a no for now. Feel like I can save that for another day. So, currently in our pile here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm going to have to choose between these two because I really want to include the rest that are sitting over here. So, if I include all these, then I have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come on, fingers. 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, okay. Which leaves me room for 1 in theory. So all these things in the maybe pile are definitely just going to automatically get turned down because I just don't think, well, you know what, we'll put Ballistic Clushes over here. But the rest of these can all go turned down. Yeah, Cumberstone 2 is nice. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I am going to actually leave it at 11 cards, I think, for now. I'm going to leave these 4 as maybes for future reference. When we go into the sorceries and instants next week, or maybe this weekend if I get some time at home, what I want to do is I want to get like a half dozen counter spells just to make sure that I have some protection for this deck and interaction. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with the other extra spells. So I'm going to have these be part of that extra pile. And if I like any of these better, then I have them as options. I really am leaning towards including the Cumberstone, actually. I think that's probably my favorite one out of these 4. Just because it feels so on point. It's got the wall in the background. It is made out of rock itself. It really feels like it screws over my opponents in terms of them not being able to do extra damage to me. But whenever I get their creature for the turn, it's going to lose that -1/-0, and then I can swing at them with an extra damage, which is funny. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it there for now. So, I am going to say that I'm sorry that Kaiba couldn't participate in this video. I assume my father is at home again because he's been at home all week. So I decided to just film this now in the car because I had to pick up my baby, his bacon for our park trips. And so what I will do is I have the intention of putting out a short tomorrow with Kaiba in it, or yeah, probably tomorrow morning. And then I'll probably put out the short that I usually do for the Hall of Legends. I'm going to film that tomorrow, but I probably won't put it out until Saturday. So the short that I'm probably going to put out tomorrow with Kaiba in it is going to actually be attached to the end of this video, so you still get some Kaiba content. And so with that said, much love to you all. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Love you. Bye.
Would you like a special lunch? Would you like a special lunch? Are you hungry? Is the puggy hungry? Would the puggy like steak and cheese? Mm-hmm. Just going to put this here. And I'm just going to walk away. Whatever happens, happens. Is it yummy?